Hello and welcome to Fox Sports Lab AFL Round 19. I didn't want to mention it, but I have to off the top because it's in the rundown. You're reeling me in on the tip. Can't believe how horrendous I was last week. I'm only 4 ahead now, 6 weeks to go. Oh, geez, it's bad.
It was a good weekend last weekend, Dicko. Just managed to reel you in a bit. Now the pressure comes over the last 5 or 6 weeks.
All right, well, I'm intrigued who you're going to tip on Friday night. So, Bombers and the Crows. So, Bombers out of the top four for the first time since round 8. And, well, Crows, they're stuck in 14th. And they had a good win on the weekend. But where do you sit now? Because Melbourne touched up Essendon, and they're a hard one to tip now in terms of where they're going to win.
Yeah, they were poor last week. The Bombers, there's no doubt about that. But it was a very different game. It was in the wet. Adelaide, they've just sort of been hanging around this year, haven't they, without getting going. And they're much better at the Adelaide Oval. So I'm going to tip the Bombers in this one. They owe me. They better do the right thing by me. And later on, my big call will come from this game as well.
Yep. Well, I'm going with the Bombers as well, only because I said they were going to be a prelim contender and they drop out of the top. Every time I say something, they just fall over. Like I go, the Cats Comet, they lose 6 in a row. So if you want a team to lose, just let me tip them nice and hard. All right, let's go the Hawks and Magpies. The Hawks have had the wood over the Pies for a long time now. So believe it or not, 12th v 13th. So elimination at the G on Saturday. And the Hawks are flying on 6 of their last 7.
Big win last week, wasn't it? Down in Tassie against the Dockers, the one that really kept their season alive. And basically every week, at the moment, is an elimination finals game for the Hawks. So I'm tipping them again. I'm going with the form team. Collingwood have got some problems injury-wise, personnel-wise. They're not going as well as we know they can. So I've got to go with the Hawks. But they traditionally play pretty good games, these two teams, against each other as well.
Are you worried about Collingwood? Because last 2 weeks, sides have marked 140 marks against them. Like in terms of controlling the ball, just stopped everything in terms of their flow and what used to be their big igniter.
Yeah, and they're conceding regular big scores too, up towards 100 points. So, yeah, I've got genuine problems about them. I thought they were starting to come back mid-season, but they've dropped away again. I think it's just a few issues with manpower that's pulled them back.
Does that, just quickly on that, did Craig McRae saying they're running out of time, is that conceding the year's gone?
Well, I think he knows that they can't afford to drop another one. They've dropped too many already, and drop another one and they'll start to disappear out of the picture. All
right, I'm going with the Hawks as well. Let's go the Cattery and the Doggies. Doggies haven't won down there, I think, since you were playing. So it's hard to tip against the Cats now. Chris Scott's bizarre because they won the first 6 games and then he was like, well, I don't think we're playing our best footy. Then they were losing 6 through the middle and he goes, we're playing really good footy. I think he's just trying to fool us in terms of where the Cats are at. But they're back now, so they've had 3 straight wins and Doggies had a ripping win against Carlton. That's as a complete performance as I've seen in a long time. Where you sit, Chief?
Yeah, it was. Chris Scott's very big on that. We're never going as good as people say you are, and you're also never going as bad as people say you are. So you've got to back the Cats down at GMHBO. I know they dropped a couple of games there mid-season, but I think they're back up and running. The Bullies surprised me last week. They were far too good for Carlton. That was a really, really good win. And they're a hard team to get a hold of, the Bulldogs. They tend to play well against the good teams for whatever reason. But down at the Cattery, I'll stick with the Cats.
Yeah, and they did it without Treloar laid out last week through the middle of the ground.
And the Bond didn't have a massive game either.
No, he didn't. He was well held early by Chincotta. But Libba, the punters out there, if they're looking for a little overs in terms of possession, 30+ he's had in 5 of his last 6 matches against Geelong. So Libba likes playing the Cats. I'm going with the Cats as well. This one, match of the round, Lions and the Swans. So can you believe it? After 6 rounds, everyone said Brisbane are gone, right? The cliff's there. They're on a rebuild. Get rid of the coach. Bring in Chris Scott, I think David King said. And now we've got 1v4. This one's shaping up to be a beauty.
It's going to be a cracker, isn't it? Brisbane, the form side of the competition. Still not sure whether they're back at their absolute best, but they're getting wins on the board, which is all that you need to do. Can't say it was super impressive last week against the Eagles, and that's a long trip to recover from. I'm tipping the away team here. I'm going for an upset, which is funny to say, given Sydney are on top of the ladder, but I just think they need a big challenge. Sydney, had that dip where they lost a couple and everyone thought, oh, there's a few chinks in the armour and maybe they're not as good as we first thought they were, but they bounced back. They're up and running. So Swans for me in a tight one at the Gabba.
Yeah, I'm going with the Swannies as well. So
You're lead protecting again.
I am not. I've been on Sydney the whole way, so you can't have that one. No, I haven't tipped Brisbane for a long time, so I'm not going with that. But goal scorer, Mark, it's your mate, Joe the Goose. He's kicked 2+ goals in 7 of his last 8 games. So we were pretty critical of him early. Do you like the form he's in?
Yeah, well, we did say that the resurgence coincided with both Hipwood and Danaher finding some form. Makes such a big difference when your key forwards are actually catching the ball and kicking goals. So they need to continue doing that if the Lions are going to continue winning.
Yeah. All right. Dockers and the D's over in the West. This one, like you said, Fremantle disappointing. We're not sure what Justin Longmuir was doing last week in terms of his game plan when they needed to score and they're kicking it sideways and roundabouts. But Melbourne, they had would have been upset of the round, really. With no Gawn, everyone was tipping Essendon, so they had a huge win. Now they jumped back into the 8 for the first time in a number of weeks. So do you like the away team here?
The D's are back, aren't they? Who are you tipping in this one?
The Demons.
Yes, I'm going Freo then.
Yes.
I'm not letting you get away with picking all the same teams as me.
Oh, you watch this, I'll be 5 ahead by the end of this. Bailey Fritsch, he's on fire at the moment, but the Bogey Stadium is not Optus, I can tell you that. So in his last 5 matches, kicked 3+ at Optus Stadium. What was your favourite stadium? Where did you fill your boots?
Oh, mate. Anywhere where it was dry, I was happy to be playing. So
you're saying every stadium just filled your boots?
No, I didn't say that at all. Don't be silly. No, this is going to be a big game, though, because Freo were trying to lock themselves in the top 4, didn't get it done last week. And Melbourne have come back from nowhere. And then all of a sudden, we know if you get on a roll for a few weeks, there's top 4 spots up for grabs.
Yep. Right, now, acid test. The Giants and the Suns. This is the Suns' 9th crack at an away game to try and get a win.
Yep.
Please tell me you're tipping them for the first time to win away.
Why would you tip them to win away, Dicker? They're getting on a plane. They can't win. You have to tip the Giants. Drive. You have to tip the Giants. The Suns are undefeated at home, can't win away.
All right, I'm going with the Giants as well. Saints Eagles. This one, the new coach curse didn't win on the weekend came very, very close. But this is a danger game, and I say that because they're not going to play finals, the Saints, but West Coast are a dangerous team.
You call it a danger game? I call it a smelly game, Dicko. Don't really like this matchup. You're never quite sure what you're going to get. The Saints have been all over the joint. I'm only going with them because they're the home team. If it was over there, you'd just about go the other way, but have to go with the Saints in this one.
All right, I'm going the Eagles.
Hang on. Don't gloss over that. Don't gloss over it.
No, we're moving along. I'll come back to it in a minute and you'll know why. The Power and the Tigers.
A Power.
Yeah, Power for me. Blues and Kangaroos.
Blues.
Right, a big call time.
Yes.
I'm backing over it pretty quickly. $4.15, money for old rope, gift, not sure what it is. West Coast will get it done against the Saints. That's
on the back of what?
On the back of, I don't like the way the Saints are playing. And on the back of West Coast last week, they looked, not because Adam Simpson's not there and new coach comes in, new energy, they looked a better outfit than previous weeks.
Okay, fair call. I am first off. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that Peter Wright plays for Essendon because he was terrible last week. Got subbed out. Wet conditions didn't suit him. But I've got a feeling the big man under the roof can get back amongst the goals and kick 3+. And I reckon that's going to make for a very tasty multi between you and I. If the Eagles get up and Peter Wright kicks 3+, we're in the moolah.
Mate, we're in the moolah, all right. They'll be needing security guards everywhere at better. Chief, appreciate your time once again. Enjoy your call across the weekend for Fox, and we'll see you next week.
Always a pleasure. Catch you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.